the issues that quantum physicists are now getting to grips with, the issues of multiple interpenetrating dimensions, which quantum physicists have already demonstrated that such things exist in indirect ways. They just don't know how to get into them. But we have evidence of tens of thousands of years of human experience of contact with intelligent entities that I would say appear to come to us from other dimensions rather than from this physical universe. So although I do think this universe is filled with life, and I do think we will eventually prove that. I mean, beings existing on the same physical plane as we do, I think there's far more powerful evidence for the existence of beings and intelligences on different planes, vibrating at a different frequency, if you like, than we are, perhaps interpenetrating in the same space that we occupy, but at the level of another dimension. I think there's just huge evidence for that. And as I say, I think it's been documented going right back to the painted caves in Upper Paleolithic Europe more than 35,000 years ago that we have these contact experiences with beings and entities, and that it's a folly of our science to be so rooted and grounded in the material realm that it's just unwilling to consider all of these possibilities.
Well, Graham, it could be both. In other words,
it definitely could be both. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, it could be both. These could be life forms on other planets. The kind of contact that we're talking about right now would be an instantaneous contact. In other words, faster than light. And scientists are moving in this direction right now.
Yeah.
It's just that they're trying to do it with hardware.
Yes. Trying to do it with hardware, the wrong equipment. Yeah. This is why science finds it so hard to get to grips with this, because they want to do it with hardware, and really it's a software issue. We already have the hardware; it's called our brains, and we need to slightly reprogram or retune our brains to gain access to these other realities, which are real. And which can be demonstrated to be real if we're willing to do the research. And we have the tools at our disposal. Shamans for tens of thousands of years have provided us with those tools. The most despised people on our planet, who our scientists look down on as primitive, superstitious savages, they are the ones who really have the secret of interdimensional contact and have used it for good purposes, for positive purposes, for healing. Shamanism is primarily about healing. Mental and physical healing, have used it for those purposes rather than for acquisitive, destructive greed, which is the ethic of our society today. So I think we need to sit down at the feet of the great shamans of the Amazon and of other regions such as Central Africa. We need to sit at their feet and listen to what they have to say, because their direct experiences of contacts with other realms and other realities have profound implications for what it is to be human. And actually, Art, I would say that it's experiences of that sort which lie at the roots of all the mainstream religions that we have in the world today. It's just unfortunate that after the original shamanistic experiences of contact with supernatural beings that created that founded these religions, that after that the money men and the bureaucrats stepped in, and increasingly our organized religions today are instruments of control rather than instruments of spiritual liberation. But if you go back to their roots and really look deep into how they began, you are going to find shamans having experiences in altered states of consciousness, contact with supernatural beings. Think of Moses in front of the burning bush. Think of Ezekiel and his experiences of a celestial journey. Think of Joseph Smith and the angel Moroni, who reveals to him texts written on golden plates. Think of the Prophet Muhammad sitting in his cave, cut off from society, isolated, shivering, a classic state to enter an altered state of consciousness, who encounters a supernatural being that he construes as the angel Gabriel, who gives him the full text of the Quran. Think of St. Paul on the Damascus Road. A blinding light completely changes his life, a vision, an experience that totally turns him around. These are true shamanistic experiences, and they were experiences of direct spiritual contact. Then, unfortunately, unfortunately, as human beings get into the picture and start wanting to control and bureaucratize everything, the religion, instead of, as I said, being an instrument of liberation, becomes an instrument of control. And pretty soon, these altered states of consciousness in which direct spiritual experiences are possible become outlawed and frowned upon by the religions themselves. So what's happening today as shamanism is reintroducing itself into the urban environment, whether our governments like it or not, is that people are once again discovering their birthright, their right to have a direct spiritual experience which can change their lives forever.